Glad to have you both on the line, and really congratulations on getting another album done and basically out, because most people can't get their music out at the moment. So how long was the second album in the making for?
Oh, man. It was
pretty much continued on from the first one, right? Like the writing?
Yeah, we were overlapped. Before the first one was even out, I think, well, no, I don't know if that's true. What was the first song we wrote on this album? Was it Outside In, Ben?
Yeah. So it was like while we were touring the first record, we were sort of starting to write the second one. So it was a few years.
Yeah.
Nice
and
healthy
some songs,
gestation period.
Some songs, we brought like 15 songs into the studio and ended up choosing 11. And some of the songs we wrote long in advance of recording the record. And we had this really exciting time at my house where Ben just came over every day for like a month, and we brought over all this equipment. We did a lot of demos for songs, but we also found, Down in the Dirt was found there. Simple Harmony was found there. Trying to think what else. Like, we just gave ourselves this kind of cocoon, this music cocoon for a month where we discovered kind of the sonic, landscape of the record, I think.
And you answered what I was going to ask next, which was the first song that you wrote for the album. But you do already have a couple of videos out. Were those made months ago?
Well, yeah, Simple Harmony we shot right before the lockdown sort of came into place, so it was kind of edited at the beginning. Wait, I think we just have one video, don't we? Or did we make another one?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just the one video. Yeah. I mean, we have other videos from the first record, but from the second record, it's just Simple Harmony.
And then, and other stuff we did, like we've done a little bit of stuff like performances, like, taped separately at home and sort of putting them together. Just trying to do what you can.
One thing I can't figure out about you two is, Ben, when I first saw you live 20-ish years ago on Long Island, when you covered Skulls by the Misfits, it's obvious that you have a punk rock background too, but what is the artist or the group that brought together you guys in the first place in terms of commonality?
I'm not sure that Josh and I's bonding was not over necessarily like musical aesthetic or albums we had in common or anything. It was more about like conversations about what being an artist means, trying to be, good and accessible, and trying to sort of get subversive or intelligent ideas into the world. I mean, it was more almost like philosophical conversations like that really, I think, created the palette. But obviously we're both interested in like acoustic music and harmonies and folk stuff and all that. But I think our initial creative bonding was more to do with like about attitude to art, to creativity.
Yeah. And I think once we started making music together, we became more engaged musically. Like I would turn to Ben and say, Ben, who's the pianist who's in the band in The Last Waltz? Dr. John, right? Like, are you
acting out a scene, or are you genuinely acting?
No. But I watched The Last Waltz and I said, "Hey Ben, is Dr. John worth listening to?" And he said, "Absolutely." And he sent me a link to a record that I should listen to. Like once we.
Splinters.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway.
Yeah. But I think we've become more, our dialogue has turned more musical now that we've been making music together for so long. But I agree with Ben that it initially, because I wasn't making music, I was making movies and TV and theater and writing. But we were both, the very first conversation we had was about just how do you be both popular and good? Like, we were actually asking ourselves that question, like, can you maintain really high quality and really kind of penetrate the consciousness of a culture? And we're still asking ourselves that question, and I think some people really do that. It was just a wide ranging kind of decade-long conversation that led to us sitting down and writing songs eventually.
Being of Jewish backgrounds in a certain age, Did music at all start with you with Van Halen?
Well, and for me, it was like my equivalent was Motley Crue. That was really big for me. Van Halen was like a little bit before. So for me, it was more Motley Crue.
Van Halen was definitely around my time, but I just remember, the videos more because it was an MTV thing, Jump and California Girls and all that. But I never felt super hard for Van Halen.
That's a shame. Can't win them all. but Ben, is it true that your music career kind of started that you got a guitar as part of a bar mitzvah gift?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd wanted a guitar. Obviously, I was playing guitar from when I was 10, and I just wanted to be in a band. And I did see... It's funny because my music is, the acoustic guitar ended up being my sort of tool of choice. But the vision of, like, in my mind, there was a barrier for entry into rock and roll, and that involved having an electric guitar. So when I was, 12 and a half and, had my bar mitzvah and got that electric guitar, that was, I suppose, when I went, okay, there's nothing stopping me now. I have the same thing Slash has, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to play it as well, but it seemed like we were kind of all systems go.
Yeah, similar story with Hillel Slovak from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, so you're not the only one. But back to you guys in your band and your music. Was the band name that you have now, Radnor and Lee, always going to be the name, or is there like a second place finisher?
We had a bad band name idea that we will spare you. We're not going to tell you it. But, Ben's idea ultimately, he was the one who said Radnor and Lee, and he himself nixed Lee and Radnor because he thought if you said it too fast, it sounded like a country singer named Leanne Radnor. But it's kind of in the tradition of folky acoustic kind of 70s bands, right? There's a lot of duos that just kind of called themselves by their last name, and we just it's kind of a slight nod to that.
Yeah, and also just having there was something about I feel like something that's been on the, it's maybe more of a subtext to our whole musical journey has been about kind of being men and being friends and being men. Like it's something that sort of almost is it's like a complicated thing to write about these days. Because we realize we've been living under sort of these structures of what being a man is that have been pretty negative and have done so much damage on the world, And so I think part of what I liked about Radnor and Lee was it was just like two men. Basically, it's like two men singing songs about their lives. And I liked there was a simplicity to that. And in a way, it's like a little... We're not the most macho guys, but there was something nice about assuming the mantle of sort of like these more macho duos or something. I don't know.
The mantle.
The mantle.
Exactly. So it's an interesting predicament where you two are both famous for a long time off of different projects, and this isn't just a side project because there's a second album and you've made video content and you actively promote it with press. But are you looking ahead and thinking, well, there's going to be a third album and when things get back to normal, we'll hit the road?
I mean, I'm looking ahead to when I can go to a restaurant safely. Like the limits of sort of what our ability to see the future right now is incredibly diminished, I think. So, and it's tricky with playing live because it's such a huge part of what makes music fun, but you want to do it in a way that's obviously like safe and sustainable and with material that is current. So I think a lot of artists that are releasing music now, it's going to be an interesting thing. Like whenever live music opens up again, do they go out and sort of like pimp the records that they put out during this, period, or is there more a call to make new music and go out and play that. So like, it's just basically my answer is I have absolutely no idea.
I mean, our whole kind of guiding philosophy is like, as long as it's fun and we feel some energy around writing songs together, we're going to keep doing it. I mean, we haven't actually written a song in quite a while because we've been focusing on this record and now getting it out. I'm always excited to write more songs with Ben. I hope we do another record. And I'll echo with Ben, you know, who knows, when it's safe, we certainly want to hit the road and bring this music and other music to people. But again, we can't, we don't have the tea leaves on that.
We really tried to get on that bill with that guy Chase, you know, and over the weekend.
The what?
You know, we tried to get on that bill in Tennessee over the weekend, you know, that big concert.
We did?
But no, never mind. I don't know. Did you see that thing with the like 10,000 people like all squashed up without masks?
Oh, no.
Insane.
Yeah,
it was like watching like Hieronymus Bosch Visions of Hell, you know?
Oh, God.
Then I'm not going to ask you guys what your feelings were about Sammy Hagar's declaration that everyone needs to basically get back on tour. So 2 quick questions, and then you guys are free men from me. And the first one is, being holed up, what is the best movie or TV show discovery you've had over the past few months?
Well, you want to go first, Josh?
I'm going through it really slowly, but I love it. It's the Ken Burns country music documentary. I loved Unorthodox on Netflix, and I had never seen The Last Waltz, shockingly, but I really, really loved it. I'm trying to think what else. Ben, have we discussed anything else?
The most exciting thing for me has been, I've been on like this Tim Heidecker deep dive. I loved Beef House. I loved on Cinema at the Cinema, at which there's like seasons to go through, and I want to watch Decker next. So I've just been like loving going through all that stuff.
Really good picks. Beef House is definitely something that a lot of people slept on, so power to you.
Well, it was like the worst timing. It was kind of like, because it's this extreme, like, kind of gross out, very frivolous kind of comment on television, and it was like, it came out right at the beginning of pandemic when everyone was just terrified. It's like, so it's just like, it's a very hard moment to try and sell it, I think.
And then the show after that, Three Busy Debras, was another classic that unfortunately fell off the deep end.
Oh, wait, I haven't seen that. That's a Tim Heidecker?
It had the time slot after Beef House, and it was 6 or 8 episodes like Beef House. Not Tim Heidecker, but very absurdist, weirdo kind of humor that if you like The State, you'll like that. So the closer for both of you, being mindful of your time here, any last words for the kids?
What kid?
Mine are just like, here, watch some YouTube. Mom and Dad are going to have a lie down.
Anything to add to that one, Josh?
No.
Fair enough. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Really do hope that more music comes. You guys really sound like you've been playing together for a lot of years, not just 3 or 4. So keep it up.
That's cool.
Thanks so much.
Awesome, mate. Thank you. Thanks for the support.
Paltrocast.